Okay, so today we're looking at the mechanical meter and the servicing of it. There's a lot in common with the timer control valve that I have a video for, and I'll put a link to that on the top of the screen right now. It's at the top right hand side. If you click on that, it will show you how to service the piston, seals and spacers, brine valve, etc., exactly how to take it all apart. So for this video I'm just going to concentrate on the differences between the timer and the mechanical meter. The main and pretty much the only difference is the mechanical meter has a mechanical meter, and I'll show you how to service and strip that down right now. Okay, so having watched the timer control one, if you then take a look at this, the meter is on the back of the control valve, and it's this domed part here, and we need to undo the 4 screws that hold the cover on. I'll show you the tools that I'm using today. Here's same as the tools I've used on the timer control: adjustable spanner, long nose pliers, slotted screwdriver, a couple of small screwdrivers and a Phillips screwdriver. In fact, we probably won't need half of those for this particular one. Okay, you can see I've already undone one of the screws, and there's 4 of them, 1 in each corner. You can take the whole manifold off if you want to, but you don't really need to. There's no moving parts there. And there we go. Okay, so we've got the 4 screws off. We can now take the cover off of the meter. Okay, so taking the cover off, I'll just put that to one side for now. And then if we have a look inside, you'll see the meter itself, the turbine sitting in there. That's what turns when the water flows through. Okay, we can lift that out, and there we have the turbine. You'll notice it's got a gear on the top here. Now when you open that up, you need to have a good look in there, make sure there's no rubbish or anything got in there that could stop this from turning properly. We'll put that back on now. Okay, turning nice and freely. Then we can have a look at the cap. Well, really, there's very little here that's serviceable on the cap. The gear on the end of this locates into a gear. I don't know if we can see it properly. A gear in there that turns a whole series of planetary gears that go around until it turns this output here where the cable goes in. And if I turn the whole thing around, you see I'm going to turn the cable now. If I turn the cable, you will see the meter on the front rotate, and it will rotate in this direction until it reaches 0, and then it will wait till 2 AM in the morning. There you go, it's clicking, waiting, and it'll wait till 2 AM in the morning, and then it will regenerate. Okay, so that's how the metering system works. Obviously anything that stops the meter from turning will prevent the water softener from regenerating, because it won't know that it's used any water. So it's important to make sure that that meter is all running nicely. Okay, we've got an O-ring in here, and best to put it back on here. As I say, this old whole meter assembly, if it is faulty, needs to be replaced. You can test it. I'll just put this back on. Okay. I'll explain how you can test it. Put these 4 screws in. Although I'd have to say the mechanical meter assembly is very reliable and pretty unlikely to go wrong. But if you're ever unsure, there's a little test you can do. Well, a couple of things, a couple of ways you can test it. One way would be to set the meter, set that white dot, you can see the white dot there, just there, set that next to the arrow, the black arrow that's next to it, and then leave it for a few days and come back. By then the meter should have turned and the white dot should have moved away from the black arrow, as you can see here. That's what you'd expect to happen after a couple of days of water usage. If it's still there after a couple of days, it means either your bypass valve is open or the meter's not metering. You can also try another way if you really want to test the meter. You can put a piece of wire that fits in there fairly tightly, something like a piece of coat hanger or something like that, with a bent piece of wire on it, and then watch it turn. You can run a tap and you can see it turn very slowly, but you can see it turn. That's another way of testing it. But probably testing it by just looking at the meter is probably the easiest way. So put the meter cable back in there. If this isn't plugged in, then again your water softener won't regenerate, won't know it's used any water. Okay, so that's the main difference between the timer and the mechanical meter, and how to check over the meter on a mechanical. The rest is all the same as the time controlled. Hope that helps. Bye.